welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super excited about today's show because we are talking makeovers. No, I'm not getting a makeover. We're not going to actually see a makeover on the show, but what I am doing is talking to Dr. Boogie. He is the star of the emotional makeover show called My Main Problem and is streaming right now on the ALLBLK channel, and that's ALLBLK. So stay tuned because you don't want to miss today's show. Welcome to Check the Rhymes, Dr. Boogie. How are you?
I'm checking the rhymes, girl. How are you?
I'm doing well. I got my Beyonce fan blowing my hair everywhere.
Well, it looks good, honey.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you, I watched the first episode and it about brought me to tears. But I want you to tell the viewers, like, what My Main Problem is about.
My main problem is absolutely, I'm just lost for words, I have to tell you. AMC has given ALLBLK a wonderful streaming platform, and I'm able to be a part of it with My Main Problem. I can actually do real issues without buffooning and clowning, and we can actually talk about real things that are going on in life with African-American women's hair, all women's hair, technically, but with African-American women's hair and what they suffered and what they're going through. It's an issue that we have not talked about, not discussed, the show we have not seen for sure. Right. We have a good time, we have tears, but most importantly, we overcome issues where women have let themselves go, and normally it's for a reason. Then we get to talk about those. And on My Main Problem, that's what we do. And at the end of it all, we just make the woman happy.
Yeah, I was, I'm just gonna, I don't want to spoil it for people, but the very first woman, and I wrote her name down, Monique. I felt her. Like it's this whole thing of people saying you're supposed to look a certain way. And I was a cheerleader, so I totally related with this. Like, you're supposed to look a certain way. You're supposed to have your hair a certain way. And I was just like, even doing this, you're supposed to look a certain way. Right. And so, but I'm lazy. Sometimes I just don't want to see my hair.
Tell me about it, girl. I'm right with you.
But I could relate. So I think this show is very, very relatable. And it made me take stock of, okay, let me think about, why am I doing this, or why my hair may be doing this? Like, where does it go back to? So I love that about the show.
Well, you're not lazy. I wouldn't call it lazy. I would call it confident, because you're confident in what you look like and who you are and how you are. And that's a big part of the show, the message that we try to get out. You don't have to have on a wig and lashes all the way out to there, lipstick, eyeliner. Yeah. Whatever you look like, be happy with what you look like, and you're a confident Black woman because you're able to get up here and not have to have all the conflama like me in the mascara, and be confident with who you are. I love that, and that's a good message to put out there to all women. So thank you for that.
Yes, yes. So I was curious though, how did you find the women that that are on the show? How did you find them?
Well, the production company hired a casting company, Pittman Casting. She's very good. She casted some of the most amazing people. Lots of people applied for the show. We looked at lots of tapes, but we really wanted to go after people who were really, really in need. So regardless of what their story was, I was more focused, and the network, we really wanted to get out there and help these women. And pretty much that's what we did. Okay.
Did you find that going through those tapes that there were a lot of women dealing with like the same type of issues with their hair?
I did, and we all did. And that's kind of like when the show, Allison created the show. It's kind of more like a botched, recover people from being botched. Right. But after going through all the interviewing process and, dealing with the network, and we just came to, and with what I was okay with doing, which is not buffooning, was just delivering a message. This message has never been talked about. No one's done it. No network would let me deliver this wonderful, uplifting message. No one was going for it. It's more, I had to be buffoon. I'm already naturally funny because I like to make women feel good. Yeah. But it was more important for me to deliver this message that we ain't talked about. And ALLBLK allowed me to do that. So here we are. And let me tell you, girl, it goes down. It still shocks me to this day to hear some of the stories what they're going through. And it's like simple little things that literally have ruined not only their hair, but their mental state about being a Black woman and being comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I like even sorry, I can't remember the girl's name in that same episode, but I was like, even her story about the relaxers, I was like, wow, a lot of people can relate to that story. Even though I tried to go natural, it wasn't my ministry. I had to go back to a relaxer. So, but I was like, but I get it.
Amen.
But when you did the virgin relaxer, that's literally what I just got because I had damage as well. But so I just felt like, okay, I feel seen. And it made me kind of also confirm, okay, this chick doing my hair know what she's doing. So, so I appreciate that.
It has to be something that you want. Everybody was like, oh, you're going to be on the natural kick, the network they asked. So what are you going to do? And, it's going to be a weave. It's going to be this. I was like, literally, I don't know. I could look at her and I made the storyboard. You can see it on my Instagram. Like, I'm going to do this for her, this for her. Uh-huh. When they got in my chair and I heard their story and found out what their life was like, everything changed. Everything changed. Yeah. The hairstyle changed. I had to give them something that they were comfortable with. And most importantly, something they could do and maintain. We go to the hair shop, we get our hair done. 2 days later, we're looking like, why do we just spend $125 in 7 hours in the beauty shop?
I'm like, so you don't know my life. That is me.
Exactly. People be like, gotta go. So it's like I had to, really get in there and find out what these women's lives were like and what it was about and what is it going to take to give them the perfect prescription.
Yes, I love that. So, I'm sure this is something that you can help with. What advice would you have for women that are afraid to go into the salon? Because I know a couple people that, because of their hair situation or lack of hair because of hair loss, they're afraid to go into a salon and let other people see what they're dealing with. So what advice do you have for them? Especially with this pandemic, a lot of people have let their hair go. And so they haven't been taking care of it.
Well, two things. The advice that I would have for them, I'm thinking about the pandemic. Now let's talk about the pandemic. The pandemic is actually a good time right now for people to have to curl their hair, put all the heat on their hair and get ready for work every day. Mm-hmm. This is a good time to let your hair, gain its nourishment back, feed it, take off the heat, take off the blow dry, take off the wig, honey, and let that hair breathe and see some sunshine. It is a good time to, renew yourself, your whole self, inner and outer. It's just a good time to spend time with yourself. And one of the main things that people are not doing is stimulating their scalp and, feeding their hair because they want bounce. Hair needs oil. So there's a different regimen for everyone. Everyone doesn't have the same prescription. So you kind of got to dig in and find out what's going on, what their lifestyle is like, and then you give them the right prescription. Hope that answers. What was the second part of that question?
The advice for people scared to go into the salon, or like if they haven't been to a salon but they want some help with their hair. What advice you have for them?
Going into a salon can be scary. Sometimes it's good to find a hairdresser that has a private booth. When I was a hairstylist in the salon, I had a private booth because I did want to respect everyone's space. And hairstylists, if you have the opportunity to get a private booth or just give your client that moment of privacy, even if it's just in the beginning of the hair appointment, having that conversation with her, that should all be private. Her doing the peel and reveal, that should all be private. You should not do that, regardless of how confident she is. Respect that moment and respect her space, as a woman. And then finding the right hairdresser is just kind of like finding a puzzle that you enjoy putting together. You might try to do it a couple times and it might not work out. Mm-hmm. So it's good to get word of mouth, find out what you want. And if you are scared to go into a hair salon, if you can't find a private booth, then just take the moment and getting the education to educate yourself on how to keep your hair healthy. Don't just throw it up in the ponytail with all the gel and alcohol on it and say, okay, this is cool. No, that's not cool. Because baby, in 20 years from now, when you're 65 years old and you're trying to be a little cougar and you roll over and your wig is hanging sideways and your boots see that you're looking like this, that's not going to be cool. When you could have prevented that by simple things like stimulating your scalp, oiling your hair, simple little things like that. So it's good to just go in and take care of yourself. And if you are afraid of going into a salon, why don't you just start maintaining your hair? Which is why I have an amazing product line, low-key drop, that is so good. And I love it because it's real and it works. I mean, I'm in love with it. It works. And that's the main thing a lot of women go through too, searching for all the products, using the wrong products, and they get lazy. Then they get tired of buying all the wrong stuff. It's important to, and for me, it even bothers me when I see hating on the celebrities and the endorsement deals. But when I see an endorsement deal that is tied to a person and they have no experience whatsoever about what they're endorsing. I get that your face is on your pretty, but that's why I'm so happy that ALLBLK, and my main problem is giving me the opportunity, because it's always been my dream to be the African-American Vidal Sassoon, the Paul Mitchell. Who do we have? Who do we have to go to get the expert advice from? Here we go, Dr. Boogie. And I'm so glad to be able to do it, because we're changing lives. We're not just giving hairstyles. We're having conversations. We're figuring out, where did you let yourself go at? And sometimes these conversations are risky, but we do it.
Well, I saw a tweet on Twitter actually a few days ago, and there was a hairstylist. I just want to get your thoughts on this. There was a hairstylist that posted a picture of a woman, and her hair, so it was like the before and after, but the way that the stylist wrote it was, this woman came in here with her hair looking like this, like she clearly let herself go. And we got down to it, and she was like, I think that there's some emotional issues tied to it. Well, people let her have it because they're like, did you talk to the woman? Did you just assume that she had emotional issues? Or was she just not doing her hair? Because a lot of people just haven't done their hair because they're, still quarantining or whatever. So I just wondered what your thoughts are, especially about posting like before and after pictures on social media for a hairstylist that may not have had that conversation.
See, they're just trying to take advantage and, exploit, basically, is what that is. And that's one thing that I don't do. If you're going to knock a woman down, bring her up. And you definitely shouldn't be saying anything about mental issues, because we all have mental issues one way or another. Nobody's perfect. And that can be very hurtful. So I'm a little disappointed they even posted that. If you're going to post it before and after, just talk about how great it was and leave it alone. You don't reach any further and try to dig for the extra like or more and degrade and, put down. That's one thing on my main problem we don't do. And with Deanna, it happened. Her family was teasing her. And little did they know that was ruining her, hurting her. That's an evil thing to do. So stylists should be very sensitive and careful. And for me, even in Hollywood, this is like one of my rules, and I teach all my, understudies and people who work for me and that I train how to work in this business with women, period. Speak when spoken to. With celebrities, you speak when spoken to. You ask questions when they ask a question. You don't just dig in, because you never know how a person is feeling, physically, mentally, emotionally. You let them spark the conversation, and then you go ahead and then you go for it. You can't just go digging in everybody's business. They have to feel comfortable with you. Right. So one thing that I learned is I'm a real person, and people can feel when they're talking to somebody that actually cares. So people open up to me a lot, because I'm not judging them in no way possible, because no one's perfect. And I'm not here to judge you or anything. I'm only here to help you, conversate with you about it, and let's see if we can find a solution. And there might be tears in the process, because it hurts to talk about something that hurts. But let's just talk about it, get it over with, move forward. That's what I'm all about. And for stylists to do stuff like that, I never have understood it. But, we live in the world today, which confuses me. Black Lives Matter, I get it. But then we're also tearing each other down. Stop. Let's just be positive for a decade and just see how wonderful the world works. And a lot of it is, mental issues. People do have them. So you can't judge people. I learned to just love people, depending on how much of them you want to deal with. Learn people for who they are. I love you for who you are. Now, how much of you I can deal with, that's a different story. But I'm still going to love you and accept you for who you are. Now, I could probably take as much of you, but that's just what it's going to be. But if you're the good person, your heart is good, and your mind is in the right place, I'm rocking with you. Even if it's not, I'm going to rock with you, but only for this long.
Love it. Love it. So for my last question, and I ask every guest on my channel this question, if our time doesn't run out, but we still have time. So during this pandemic, what affirmation have you been telling yourself just to keep yourself motivated?
You know what? We all came up with my main problem before the pandemic. The pilot was already shot. And so then we were waiting to go into the pandemic. But what I knew for myself was I'm about to embark in a journey where it's going to be very mentally draining for me. When you take on people's problems, and if you're listening, if you're listening to a person, you really want to be there with a person, you got to hone in and you got to take that in and feel all that. So I personally moved away into the woods and just secluded myself, and just, that was the right thing to do so I wouldn't catch COVID. And at the same time, I wanted to learn myself more, because I was just coming from really work a lot in Hollywood, busy, doing a lot with clients. I wanted to learn myself. and help myself with my issues before I could literally step in the ring and try to help anybody else. I need to learn how to love myself, help myself, and know who I am. So that pandemic actually helped me. And then I was allowed to go in and focus and buckle down and do this show because it was very emotional for me too.
Yeah. I can only imagine. And I think that that's key. People have to really know themselves and know how much they can take on from other people. So that definitely is key.
Here you go. I've been good all day doing these damn interviews, girl, messing with you and started me going, Lord have mercy.
Oh, no.
But yes, that's what it's like on My Main Problem. We keep it real, we cry, we hug, we laugh. And I just want to make the women feel good moving forward from that point. Regardless if they can keep it up or not, you know, you felt good. You knew what it take to feel good. And what we did was get you to a state that you were comfortable with, regardless of the whole natural crew and the whole relaxer, this and that. What are we going to do for you, sweetie? That's the goal.
I love it. And I can't wait for people to check this out on the All Black channel. It's called My Main Problem. Thank you so much, Dr. Boogie, for joining me and not judging me for this hair.
Girl, do it. Let me tell you a secret. I show this to everybody that I like. I don't shave the back of my head, girl, because I'm lazy too, honey, but I'm confident in who I am. And I like to say that I don't care because I do care, but I'm confident. I don't have to do all this to make anybody happy. I'm here to make me happy and everybody else on My Main Problem.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to be checking out the rest of the episodes, and I hope everybody else does too. And you will have to come back because I absolutely adore you.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to send you some products so you can use my little oil in that wig, honey. That way you keep it together.
Thank you. So I will take these wigs, wear it a couple weeks, and toss it to the trash, and then get another one that's the same one.
And good for you. And you know, you're not supposed to treasure. It's just an accessory, but as long as you're taking care of your hair under there, that's all that matters. You find them in the couch with the change, honey.
You're right. Well, thank you again for joining me. So, yes, definitely come back, for next season, because I know there's going to be a second season.
Then we're going to have 100 episodes. We're going to celebrate this. That's why All Black, we celebrate who we are, where we are, and why we are.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Boogie.